Hello and welcome to the show. Now, I wanted to bring a new sort of motorsport to the world of GTA 5, and the sport that I chose to try and build a course for was Autotest. Imagine the Forza 6 autocross, but an awful lot more technical. It tends to take place in kind of car parks with very fiddly checkpoints and sort of specialised almost stunts to get the cars around, and that was what I was planning to build using this car park at the pier. Now, we were going to have a couple of different types of gates. So the normal sort of posts, you have to go through them forwards. The kind of lit up traffic cones you have to go through in reverse. Now, when I was building this, I didn't really know which car to use. I thought the Lancia Stratos-esque vehicle might be a good choice. Turns out not quite so much. There's so much gripping this car that it has real trouble sliding about, and while normal racing I wouldn't be sliding a car about, you kind of need that. You do kind of need that. When it comes to this, you kind of get the basic idea of this sort of the first couple of checkpoints that I had laid down. In the end, I settled for my kind of test car, being the Mamba. Worked very well indeed. So I was trying to make it as kind of a difficult an area to get the cars through. Try and get to do as many different sort of maneuvers in very confined spaces. So we have these kind of, once you got through the initial sort of reversing section, we've then got a very fiddly little change of direction. Not just, going for sort of sensible gates. Again, I'm trying to keep it as compact, make the cars do things that are, a little bit difficult, and so on. Got to be careful not to over-rotate the vehicle. It turns out trying to carry speed in reverse through some of these gates would be quite the challenge. I missed that one by an absolute mile. So we're not just going to have gates that you have to go through forwards or backwards. I was also going to have like a little donut spot, so wherever we saw the tyre bundles, that would be somewhere that you had to do a complete sort of circle around. It quickly realised my approach was not a good one. Was not a good one going from that angle. You can approach it from whichever side you want, but the way that I went through there just doesn't set you up at all for the exit. Also, don't drive into that. That's a silly thing to be doing. I also decided to make it extra difficult on this one, really confine it in with the extra tyres around the outside. That's the better way to go. You will get a much smoother exit out of that section. Yeah, when you kind of look at it from a top-down view, it is horrendously narrow, but that's half of the fun. Also, be aware that these tyres are not just for show. They will screw your car up massively if you run across them. Because of the way they're sort of half sunk into the ground, you can't get your car back off it. It doesn't move enough to get the vehicle free, so you really don't want to be running across them ones. So once I'd just about got the hang of this little kind of mini spin dry, we then have another sort of obstacle where the cones are lined out around a parking space. That is somewhere you have to pull the full car into the space and stop. Then we have another couple of checkpoints. Again, just sort of making the cars spin around, making it have to try and deal with changes of direction, getting it into reverse out of slightly awkward corners and so on. It's all, try and make it as difficult as possible for the car, while not being completely and utterly impossible for the vehicle to get around. So once we've got that sorted, then we move on to a more traditional slalom. But this was designed to be very mean, as you can see from the tyre marks on the road. This is a tough slalom to get through because it is, again, very narrow. And then we finish with a spin you've got to try and get through in reverse. Hopefully better positioned than that one. You can't just weave the car through. Normally, you have to take a much wider line around the cones so that you can get it turned for the next part. So your line through here is really important. You can waste a lot of time spinning the wheels and taking a longer route essentially to get through the gates, but you have to take a long enough route so that you can get the car around. Again, important to have the power here enough to get the back end of the car moving around, otherwise you end up like that, having to try and do a 3-point turn. It's not ideal, that one. Incredibly narrow gates to finish. You can also, again, approach this one from either direction. Doesn't actually make any difference. You finish after the slalom, you go for reversing, you'll try and fit the car around through the next gate. That's the simplest gate, that one. Into another parking space, this time at a slight angle. Try not run into the cones. Then we back it in to another one of the reverse gates. and that was actually using up a lot of the PR. I wasn't sure how much space I was going to need, how big a car park I was going to need, but this one here was working out pretty damn well, so we rejoin with the reverse. You get it timed right, it's absolutely perfect. You can get the car lined up immediately to head through the section. Then we get to the really mean stuff to finish off, as if I hadn't been mean enough already, again, backing it through there. Then we have these very, very narrow gates. Now, it is doable. It is doable, but it's very tough. Again, it's all about getting your line right, getting the right amount of power, getting the right amount of speed, and getting use of handbrake right. We have another around the tyres to finish, and another horrendously tight hairpin across the line. Now, the green flag, slightly ignore that. I managed to place that down in the map editor, and I could not find a way of deleting it. I don't know why it just wouldn't let me select it again to delete it. There was going to be a I selected the wrong flag. There's going to be like a finish flag, and yeah, it didn't quite work. There we go. We see you can get the car around. You've got to take slightly weird lines to get it right. I thought I'd have to go around the tyres in a different direction. You do that though, and you end up having to take a wonky line in towards this final corner, so not a good idea. And I end up driving into the the post anyway, around the final bit. Slightest bit of a wall tap, and there we go. So, yeah, that was the course. I'm actually really happy with this course. Took me a couple of hours to kind of decide to finalise on it. Now, I was going to have a go with some different vehicles and to sort of try out, figuring, you know, the Drift Tamper would be a good choice of car. It's not. It's not. Because it's based on the Hoonicorn, it is all-wheel drive, and that's not ideal. There's not enough power to get this all-wheel drive car sliding around. It's also very big and doesn't fit through a lot of the course. When I tried to do the donut, we've managed to beach it, and, well, yeah, it's not really going anywhere quickly whatsoever. Before I was done, though, I thought we would go around and just make it a little bit more lively, make the map a little bit more detailed. So I had some spectators around the place, kind of like this little a little bit of a car show thing going on. Yeah, it's just generally liven the place up a bit. Because I had to turn off pedestrians, had to turn off traffic, because that will tend to spawn in and make a nuisance. And if you do want to have a go with this map, you'll have to turn that off as well, otherwise it won't work. I just kind of feel a bit dead. So yeah, spawn in some extra props around the place to make it that little bit prettier. Well, it is time now to time myself. When it comes to tackling this auto test course, I'm going to take 3 different vehicles. I'm going to have 3 attempts with each. Every time I clip a cone or a gate or something, that will be a 5-second penalty. I'm hoping one of the 3 runs is going to be clean with each of the vehicles. There is no guarantee, though, as this is an incredibly technical course. Now, I've gone for a Futo as my first vehicle. Now, I've got full upgrades, or full performance upgrades from the game, in the hope of giving it a little bit more power, a little bit better brakes, a little bit better grip, and so on. You will notice I don't have a crazy wing. There is a very good reason for that. And that is because the gates are narrow and the wing is massive, and you get it caught on stuff. A very, very brief test with the Karuma with that crazy wing, and it just caused all sorts of trouble. So we're not going for a crazy wing on our Futo. We're going to set off and try, hopefully, to navigate our way through the course. Now, I've done a lot of runs around here in the Mamba with sort of practicing and building up the course. The Futo is a very different beast. It is smaller than the Mamba, which is good. I've actually proven to be lovely and agile through this opening part. I'm not actually sure if that clipped the post on the way out or not. The exit of the little donut section there is horrible. It really is a very, very nasty section. So far, this run here is going very well into the awkward slalom. That shall be the official name of this part, because it's so technical. Ooh, we brushed the tyre bundle. That will be a 5-second penalty, a silly 5-second penalty to give away as well there. Spin the car around. Futo is an excellent choice, by the way, for this, in case anyone is wondering. Oh, playing it very close, but that's going to be another 5-second penalty because I've not quite got my car positioned well enough. That was stupid by me. Oh, it's all gone wrong towards the end of the run. Make it through, make it through. Oh, piss. I was trying to be too clever with the speed. It's all gone a little bit messed up towards the end here for the poor Futo. Started off so well, then rapidly went downhill. It's a little bit technical in the less powerful cars. Hey, and across the finish. Okay, for an opening run, not too shabby. Actually went very, very well early on. It kind of all fell downhill as we got to the narrow, twisty section. And that was just a silly mistake, and then I started pushing more than I should have been. Okay, for our second run, can we... Oh, we can't get a flamethrower. I should put an upgraded exhaust on this one. No flamethrower from the Futo. A lot of these sort of reverse gates, the trick is you've really got to... You've got to kind of let go of the steering when you're in reverse, sort of preempt where the car's going to end up. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time trying to correct yourself as we now head into the roundabout. Actually, ran in a little bit too deep, but we've clipped it on the inside. Silly me, and they were too fast on the way out. But okay, it's all a little bit scrappy going into this second ride. We just managed to bump into everything. Now, the reason why I haven't got the props around here on dynamic, the reason why I've left them as solid, is so that you don't have to reset the map every single time you run the course. You're going to notice when you've bumped into something, you have a solid clonk because they act like they're made of concrete. So, yeah, that's why they don't move. You can set them to. It's just that I've chosen so that we don't have to keep reloading the map every time you do a run. And of course, you're probably going to take a lot of runs to really get things right here. That's such a nasty angle to be coming out of that area at. Come on then, Futo. We can make it across the next bit around the donuts. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better this time out. Oh, that's the angle that you want through there. That is the angle that you want straight across the finish line for a better second run. Slightly less mistakes. It's just the tiniest of catches. It's just the tiniest of catches in a couple of places. The Futo, once it starts drifting, likes to keep on drifting. It doesn't quite get grip as quickly as you might like. This is the run that needs to count. We need a clean run in the Futo, no silly mistakes, and hopefully we will be able to get a half-decent time. Oh, that was very, very close. We got away with it, though. We did get away with it. The driving in reverse is surprisingly difficult, especially with a car like this that's got the wheels spinning and so on. You'll try to position the vehicle in reverse at high speeds and then get it sorted out again out the other side quickly. We're a little sluggish here. I'm having to go a little bit slow to try and make sure that we get through these gates safely. Oh, ever so slightly overcooked that, but we're fine. We're back into position. Now, the areas that are most troubling, the two narrowest sections I haven't actually managed to bump into so far around here. We've had silly mistakes elsewhere. Spin it round, slam it in reverse. Again, we ever so slightly over-rotated before getting that one there into reverse. And again there, not quite perfect. However, I can't risk quite as much on this final of runs. Now, this is where we need to be careful. There we go. Got the front around. I mean, it's supposed. I designed those sections there to be as difficult as possible, while still just about passable. I mean, the actual Autotest cars. No, I've goofed on the final one. The final section. God damn, I'm just trying to get it far enough across. The actual Autotest cars have horrendously fast steering racks. I mean, they tend to be minis and chassis of small French hatchbacks and Caterhams and so on. We couldn't quite get a perfect run. That was a 5-second penalty. It was a clip. I was trying to get the car across there, ready to then turn around this way, as it is a really, really tight, narrow little section. Couldn't quite make it all the way clean, but still, I think that's a half decent run there from the Futo to finish up. Well, that is our first car done. Now, we have got a little bit of a wild card for our next vehicle. It is the Fiat 500 race car. However, this is slightly front-wheel drive. I'm not quite sure how much power it is that goes to the front wheels, but I believe there is some. It's quite snappy, quite twitchy, but twitchiness is good in some respects in this course because, of course, we need a very, very responsive front end to make it through some of these corners. Now, actually holding drifts, that's going to be a lot more difficult. Good God, this thing accelerates faster than the Futo. Of course, it does actually have traction now, so it will accelerate. This will be less slidey, more sort of controlled, and then panicked grab the handbrake when we realise things aren't quite working out. Like around here, we don't have... Oh, we bumped the outside. We don't have the nice control that we got in the Futo. However, we can We carefully does it. We can get the car change direction very, very quickly. We ever so slightly brush that. Even though in this you're not able to sort of slalom properly because it is just too narrow. You've got to still have to take the very, very wide line, slightly wonky line that you are forced to be doing. Spin it around. Yeah, a little bit more difficult to... oh, that's not what we wanted to be doing whatsoever. A little bit more difficult in this car in some respects, but we don't waste if we can... oh, we've completely cocked up all of the gates. We have to go for a reverse there as well. Yeah, we don't waste all of the time with the rear wheel spinning like you do in the Futo. You don't waste time trying to put power down, but that does cause its own problems. Oy, we can't quite get around there either, and it's across the line. That's a really nasty corner. That's a really nasty corner for the Fiat. I think we're going to have to go in. It'll be cheating if I go and test it out. I think we have to go at a slightly different angle because we can't use the rear tyre. We can't spin the rear tyres up in the same way that we can in the Futo, that we can in the Mamba as well. That makes it so very good. Alright, the Mamba's actually relatively large compared to these two vehicles. Let's try and get on the brakes a little bit sooner there, because we don't need quite as much speed. Got to be careful we don't twitch the car. We've got to be also careful that you make sure you go far enough back into the or through the reverse gate. Oh, make it around there this time. Yeah, struggling to spin up the wheels is making it tough, and just the sheer way that this car accelerates is also is a little bit scary. I'm a little bit nervous about kind of jumping on the throttle in places because it's just going to bolt forward, and that's not necessarily going to help matters like that. For example, again, I say I'm amazed. It's kind of typical that it's a silly place that is where I'm getting into trouble with these cars. And reverse through there. Try and grab forward before we end up in the wrong position. There we go, into parking space. Got away with that without touching the thing. Around that corner. Now, as we head across the little bump doesn't really do too much other than just add a slight sense of spectacle to this. Can we yank the handbrake there? That's good! That's how we want to be doing it, across the line. We have the traction to get away with doing that, and we have a car small enough. Let's face it, this is a pretty damn short vehicle. We have the short enough wheelbase to get away with yanking the handbrake on the way through there to light it up nicely. Okay. One more run. Right, apologies, had a small bit of a capture freeze. We are ready for our third and final run with our little Fiat. This car does do a nice flamethrower, which shall hopefully bring us good luck, as we are going to set off onto our final attempt. We massively over-rotated that. Now, we can get away with it, and we managed to, at the very last second, avoid driving in to the code. Come on now. Get the car around. Got to be really careful. There's quite a lot of coasting almost involved, and there's a lot of yanking the handbrake to make sure that the car's getting round somewhere. We've kind of got a little too far back in that, but never mind. I've got to make sure we at least do get the checkpoint. Now, let's not do anything absurdly stupid, because we've kind of got to be a little bit more careful in this. This is where we struggle, I think, where we lose time over the Futo. While, yes, this car will put its power down better, like when we... coming out of a gate, we can actually accelerate away, but we can't get the back end turn, so we've got to be quite patient through some of these places. That was very, very close indeed. Now, yank the handbrake. We're going to have to do that. It's a little bit of a fiddly manoeuvre, because I came in at all of the wrong angle. This is really difficult to try and do a run all put together neatly. And it's across the line. I'm not sure whether we actually bumped the inside of that one, or whether it was just a kind of brush along the black part of the pole. I don't know which... there certainly wasn't a crunch. I don't know whether that counts or not. I think there was one mistake on that run, possibly. Well, I say there was one mistake. We had to grab reverse. We had to kind of do a three-point turn slightly. Now, thankfully, this car gets into reverse very quickly. Yeah, I think it's going to be close between this and the Futo. The Futo's strong in different areas to this car. Maybe our third and final vehicle, though, will offer the solution. And of course, our final car to go through the course is a Caterham. Now, this mod I did have to fiddle around with the handling files ever so slightly. The car, the handling that came with it was horrendously grippy, and we actually do need to have the car, you know, spin a wheel. And let's face it, a high-powered Caterham, you would be spinning the wheels up. So I've tinkered around with the grip, sort of values a little bit to give the car some wheel spin so we can do this sort of stuff, but still, you know, still got plenty of grip, plenty of turning as you would expect from a Caterham. Should be pretty damn well suited to this event in theory. There is also a slight downside. I say a slight downside. Whoa, a little bit like the Fiat. The front end of this is the entire car is very twitchy. The front end can suddenly get grip, and that can get you in trouble if you aren't prepared for it. Although you do need the front end to be able to get turned in very snappily for some of these corners. That's what makes it good around here. It's just kind of finding the balance and getting used to everything. We are, so far though, looking pretty good. It's like there, where the way that the rear end wants to swap ends on you, it can actually spin the car around a little bit too early if you aren't careful. We don't want to waste too much time though. Through the awkward slalom we go. It's very good through here, as you would imagine from the Caterham. Slam it in reverse, spin the car around. Look at that, parked perfectly, pointing the direction we want to be going. Again, into the next parking bay. This gate here is actually a little bit tougher than I was expecting it to be, just the way that you want to line up. Oh, we've caught the rear of the car, and that's got us in a little bit of bother through there. Got to watch out for those sticky outy wheels. They can they can get you in trouble. Now, I would hope that theoretically, yeah, there we go. That's a great run. It's a great opening run. It was a stupid mistake to get that rear caught on the way through there. I was thinking the Caterham might be good at that final corner. The way at which you can get that front end to change direction suits that sort of a technical section very well. Okay, I mean, it's a good opening run. It's a good opening run indeed. We will. Can we get a flamethrower? Oh, we can get a flamethrower. We can get a flamethrower out the side of the Caterham as well. Can we go any better? Can we get a lovely, clean, perfect run through here? This is one of those things that I could spend, and probably will spend ages, just messing around trying to get that perfect run. And it's not going to be this one, because I've chucked it in with way too much speed. That's a dumb place to have an accident. Yeah, much like the autocross from Forza games, I can spend a lot of time fiddling around with this, kind of going for the precision driving. And then around the next bit. Oh, that's a bit too much speed. I mean, this run here is pretty much gone anyway, so I figured I might as well just throw the car at it and see what it can do. Now, can we, with this, get a... You see, you can kind of get the first gate, but it tightens up. The whole point, the way I did this slalom was to make you have to take alternatives, so you couldn't just sneak your way down. You can get away with the first couple, but if you do, you then end up really out of position for the latter ones. So yeah, it's not really worth it. You just might as well. Okay, so there's a little bit of a slightly wonky hitbox around the Caterham. That is not helping matters when you've got to be ultra precise as you do around this course. That's not really ideal. Okay, whoa, almost turned in a fraction too soon there. Come at a wonky angle as anything into this final one. We will make it around across the line for the Caterham. Yeah, there is a slight... It's just not quite perfect, perhaps, the hitbox around the Caterham. That's not what caused me to fail on that first run. That was me being a moron and running it too close in a different way. But that's something to be aware of. We need to give it a couple more millimetres. And we are only talking like a couple of centimetres, a couple of millimetres here and there. But in Autotest, that can be quite important, especially when you've got narrow gates and all of these areas. There's a lot of wheel spin setting off there that I would have rather not had. It's just wasting time. There are bits where we want to spin the wheels, and then there are bits where we want to have grip. That's just about nicely done. Line it up, and then into the parking bay once more. Like here, we want to get grip as quickly as possible. We don't want to be wasting time spinning the wheels. We have not quite got that turn in the way that I had hoped it was going to, but never mind. Either way, we are through. It's a little bit twitchy on the way into the slalom. That's not great. Yeah, very much the way you go into this slalom will determine how well you get through it, and we did not get into it particularly well. Thankfully, on the way out, we can kind of recover all of that. Through the next gates we go, into the parking bay. Now, this is where we've got to be careful in lining ourselves up. Oh, god damn. It's the same corner that we've caught. Same corner, different place that we've managed to ding that one. Whoopsie, and around we go into the final section. Run towards the line. Oh, there was millimetres away from clipping the wall there as we had to counter steer with the Caterham. Well, we're gonna get that stuck, I think, aren't we? Yeah. That is fantastic fun. I really like this course. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Like, I had an idea, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to work, and I'm really pleased with how that has turned up. Well, I think all of the cars, their fastest runs would have got one penalty each, so it will kind of even itself. I don't know, the Futo and the Caterham got one penalty each, and the Fiat had to get a slight 3-point turn in. So, yeah, should be close between these three vehicles. So, onto a leaderboard of sorts, and it is the Briscoe, the Fiat 500, that would take victory, a 1 minute 8.1 around the course. In the end, the penalties make absolutely no difference. The Caterham in second ahead of the Futo. Caterham wasn't too far down on that Fiat. At the end of the day, it was the all-wheel drive traction that did it. While it did present some problems, especially with the likes of the awkward slalom and so on, it's the traction getting going from a standstill, whereas the Caterham and Futo would waste that little bit of time every time with them spinning the wheels. Just the launch away from a standstill is what did it for the Fiat. Was very good fun though, driving all three of those vehicles. I very much enjoyed building this, trying something a little bit different. Kind of the first time I've ever really sort of sat down with the map editor to try and make something on the PC. And yeah, it is a very, very different sort of motorsport, and I hope that I managed to do it a little bit of justice here with this recreation. Now, if you want to have a go with this course, I am going to be uploading it to the GTA 5 mods website that I use. There will, of course, be a link in the description, so you can go and have a go with it yourself. Try and beat my time, try and take other cars around here. You will need the map editor mod, of course, as that's how this was all made and so on. They're all relative. Again, I'll link all of them so you can play about with them along with the Caterham. You know, you can take standard game cars. I'm sure there are plenty of mod vehicles that will be good fun to go around here. Yeah, it's a really interesting, a very, very different challenge, a very different sort of driving skill. This one, kind of high-speed, precision driving, is unlike, I say unlike anything I've ever done before. Autocross in Forza 6 is, of course, by far the closest, but this is a lot more confined, an awful lot more confined, and that was what I was going for. And yeah, it worked out really, I think, really rather well. If people like this, if people like this video, people want to see me take some more cars around here, you got to bear in mind, no, trucks aren't going to fit around here. They have to be quite specialised cars. I may well come back to this course. I'll be more than happy to. So yeah, let me know. I also love the way the amount of time this vehicle, this Tampa, spends on three wheels as you're throwing it through the corners is seriously, seriously spectacular. Very good fun to watch. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. We may well come back to this circuit. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.